my list is in alphabetical order, not in numbered order. So I'll draw your attention to the people who I think have really thought about what they were doing and embraced some of these aspects that I look for in the subtlety of Chinese New Year and the way that they've embraced that in their work. So we have Cherry Ann Steele. She has the Buddha and the 12 animals that came. The most creative zodiac sign it's called. If you all turn around at the very back. So the Buddha invited 12 animals to come and he named each year after them. And then the people born in those years took on the characteristics of the animals from each year. So this is the most creative zodiac sign. And the sign of the sheep, it's a bit, there's a bit of controversy about it because the sheep or the goat, some see it as a weak sign because it's like a big group of people. The Chinese, there would have been about, 1.2 million cesareans yesterday, so that they didn't have children born in the year of the sheep.
Is that true?
Yeah, a huge rush on snake babies. See? The story goes that for every 100 sheep that are unlucky, there's one that is lucky. So you might just be that one. So a couple of these artists have looked at this theme and they've embraced that in their work. So we also have Catherine's work here with the goldfish. And this is the little red envelopes the kids are getting. The red envelopes, generally you would give a token coin. These days it's probably a $100 note because there's only one grandchild with 4 grandparents. And they're all little empresses and emperors. And so they're all very spoiled. But the kids are all running around with their red envelopes, and traditionally these envelopes would have the goldfish on them. So this is a very strong symbol of the Chinese New Year. They would also perhaps have small children, the New Year babies, holding a giant peach or swimming with the carp. So these are all good luck symbols for the year. And then we have Janto. Jay is here wearing his red t-shirt. Thank you, Jay. And his work, if you look up behind you, is the tea bags. Now, Jay, over a long period of time, collected tea bags. He hadn't seen his mother for 18 years. He wanted to be able to remember the conversations he'd had with his family. So he collected the tea bags from the conversations and he's been making lanterns like this one that's red inside, so that if you stand under it, it emanates the red light. But it has that sort of sensitivity of the conversation and families coming together for Chinese New Year. And a beautiful piece of work, thanks, Jen. And then we have Karen Bloomfield. This one I really like just because it's technically beautiful, the little one up the U. And she also played, yes, and she also played with the words wishing you luck, E-W-E. And given that I looked at all of these online, it's always interesting to come in and see the sizes because I was thinking this is about. And so I'd like to mention it because it's so beautifully done, and as a mixed media piece I know how hard it is to do that. Then we have Rewa Beckland. Are any of these people here?
Yes. Where is she?
And Rewa, this work is absolutely hidden over behind the door there. You all need to turn around, and on the plinth, the work is on the plinth. It's a lamb chop. What I liked about this work is she was inspired by Anne Doe's artwork that she saw in the Archibald Prize that was big, a big painting with thick colour and thick paint. So she took that as her inspiration, Asian inspiration, and then gave it an Australian humour twist. And so produced that work, which I think is quite beautiful. And then we have So-Yeon Kim, who has also put in this work here. It's just a long piece of work with wool and weights and horns. And So-Yeon says, she's also playing on this theme of the sheep, that the sheep or the goats are considered to be meek and mild creatures. But, as she points out, they have horns. And so this work is about the fact that they have the horns to fight against unfairness. And she also is playing with the wool to cover yourself and ask for peace. So that's a nice work too, in that the layers, I'm looking for the layers and the subtlety of meaning with the work. Now, I couldn't decide which one was the winner, so I'm picking two. In fact, everything I've talked about, they're all good. So, Kelly Love, are you here? Hi, Kelly. I thought that was a great piece of work. If you've got she had the symbols at the back behind the door of the goat incorporated into the tree. Now, this is the Taxus Cineus tree, which is a 2,000-year-old tree that still exists in Guizhou. And Guizhou is a place that I've been to a few times, so I can imagine that Guizhou is a long way from Beijing. So there's a lot of things in the valleys and the caves and the nooks and crannies of Guizhou that have escaped the central government's notice, and also the Red Army during the Communist Revolution. So the temples in Guizhou are still intact. The Buddhist grottos are still intact. And this large tree has managed to survive.
It's 2,000 years old.
Yes, and it's 2,000 years old. So she's combined a lot of symbols, the lotus, the sun, the moon, the colours with gold and flecks of red for good fortune. And she's tried to embody the spirit of wisdom, strength and harmony through that work. So I think that's a beautiful work. Thank you very much. And the other one that I'd like to point out is the one here, the long one with the various sheep in it. Terry Brander. Is Terry here?
Yes.
Can you wave your arm around? Hi, Terry. Now, the reason I really like this one is because she's using all the astrological figures, and she's talking about how Aries is tied to heaven, and yet the goat is bound to earth, or the sheep is bound to earth. And she's drawn this beautiful juxtaposition between the skies and the earth, and yet the symbol's the same, and it's thousands of years old, and it's been talked about in different ways. And this is the first time I've seen a work that draws those both together. So I thought that was a particularly clever piece of work. I could talk about all the others, but I'd like to say thank you for coming. Thank you to those who wore red. This for next year. Even Jay's got red socks on and I've got red underwear on. So you need to make an effort here because we've got a whole year to get through yet. So thank you very much for inviting me. It's been a great pleasure being able to come and talk to you. And if you need to know anything or what I think about any of the others, please come and ask me. Thank you.